Under a sky lit by stars and shifting aurora, the sea ice of Antarctica stretches to every horizon. Here, in the depths of the southern winter, temperatures fall past 60 degrees below zero, and winds tear across the ice at 200 kilometers an hour. No sun will rise for weeks. And yet, somewhere out on this frozen expanse, tens of thousands of birds have chosen this exact moment, the harshest season on Earth, to raise their young. This is the emperor penguin, the only bird on the planet that breeds through the Antarctic winter, while every other penguin species waits for summer. Waves break against the frozen shoreline. Mountains catch the last color of a sun that is already gone. Out here, survival itself will depend on numbers, on warmth shared between strangers, and on an extraordinary partnership between two parents who may not see each other again for months. An emperor penguin's body is built entirely for this cold. 4 dense layers of feathers trap a cushion of warm air against the skin, while a thick layer of fat insulates everything beneath. Blood vessels in the legs run so close together that heat is recycled before it ever reaches the ice, keeping the feet just above freezing while the body's core stays warm. And low on the belly, a loose fold of feathered skin, the brood pouch, waits for the one thing it was built to hold. When the ice is smooth, penguins abandon the slow waddle altogether, dropping onto their bellies and tobogganing across the surface, covering ground with barely any effort at all. Now, deep in the colony, a single egg is laid, just one for the entire breeding season. There will be no second chance. The moment it appears, the female must move quickly. The male steps forward, and for a few of the most dangerous seconds in the entire breeding cycle, the egg is passed from her feet to his, exposed to ice that can end its life in under 2 minutes. It rolls across the frozen ground and comes to rest safely beneath the male's brood pouch. Only then can both parents relax, even if only for a moment. With the egg secure, the female's part is done. For now, she turns and begins the long walk back toward open water across the ice to feed after weeks without a meal. Behind her, the male stays. He will not eat again for another 2 months. To survive what comes next, the males do something almost no other bird does. They come together. Thousands of them press into a single dense, rotating mass. A huddle so tight that body heat alone can hold back the worst of the Antarctic winter. Those on the outside, exposed to the full force of the wind, slowly work their way toward the center, while others take their place at the edge. No one stays cold for long. Each male loses nearly half his body weight before this is over. And still, he does not leave his post. After roughly 2 months, the egg begins to change. A crack appears, then widens, and a chick emerges. Still blind, still helpless, entirely dependent on a parent who has not eaten in weeks. If the female has not yet returned, the male has one last resource, a rich, milk-like secretion produced in his own esophagus, just enough to keep the chick alive a little longer. And then, somewhere among thousands of near-identical birds, a single call rings out, and the male knows it instantly. Mated pairs in this colony learn to recognize each other by voice alone, a private signal that cuts through the noise of an entire breeding colony. The female has returned. She settles beside her mate and her new chick, and offers the first real meal it has ever had. Fish, already partly digested, carried back across the ice. Weeks pass. The chick grows, its first down giving way to sleek, waterproof feathers. Eventually, it gathers with others at the edge of the ice. Young birds who have never once touched the ocean, staring down into water that could hide almost anything. Pressure builds from behind as the group edges forward, until all at once they go. A cascade of first-time swimmers, dropping into the sea together. Below the surface, they move as one. A strategy meant to overwhelm any single predator with sheer numbers. But something is already waiting in the darker water beyond. A leopard seal explodes from the depths, faster than anything the young penguins have ever had to outrun. It catches one, thrashing it violently at the surface until the water clouds with blood. Feathers drift loose in the current. The others scatter, one caught in a second strike, most fighting their way back toward the safety of the ice. The seal still cutting through the water just behind them. Farther out, in open water, and even larger hunter surfaces, a killer whale lifts its head above the ice, studying the scattered penguins along the edge, then drives a wave up onto the surface itself, washing one bird straight off the ice and catching it before it can even reach the water. Back at the colony, danger comes from the sky instead of the sea. A skua circles low over the nursery, searching for any chick left unguarded even for a moment, and finds one. What follows is fast, and it is brutal. Within seconds, it is over. Nearby, other penguins barely react. In a colony of thousands, this happens more than anyone would like to admit. Slowly, the water stills. The ice falls quiet again. For the chicks that make it through, something shifts. The ones who survive their first days in the water begin to regroup. swimming together with a little more confidence than before, drifting farther from the edge that once terrified them. Months later, fully feathered and ready, one of them slips into the ocean again, this time without hesitation. As the Antarctic summer sun lingers just above the horizon, never fully setting, the ice begins its slow retreat. The colony that once held tens of thousands scatters across the melting shoreline, parents and grown chicks going their separate ways for now, but the ice will freeze again. And when it does, this same extraordinary cycle, one egg, one impossible winter, one small chance at survival, will begin all over again.